Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video I'm going to talk about the M4, the HK416 and the DT MDR, the newest addition to the game with the 5.56 variants, and I'm going to talk about the recoil, getting it as low as possible, where they sit in the game. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So first up, we've got all these three rifles. I've gone and spent the last probably hour modding them and trying to get it down to the lowest recoil possible. Now there might be one or two small things that might be wrong, but overall it wouldn't be far from this. Now some things to take note of, there's actually a new buffer tube that has been added to the game. This one is a negative 4% recoil. That previously the stock buffet tube is actually -1, so that actually's made a fair bit of difference just there. And until now, I never realized that there was a 5.56 attachment for a RSAS suppressor. So this sells from Peacekeeper 3. If you chuck this one on to an M4, it's negative 11% reduction, and currently the best non-suppressed compensator or suppressor is 10%. So this is the way to get it to the lowest as possible. The rest of the stock and parts are pretty much the same as before, the RK2 foregrip, and everything else is pretty much where it was. The HK now has a new, rail system or foregrip, being, I think it's this one, so it's the Crux. It's currently sitting here with it. It's sold from Mechanic 3. It's a lot longer without a handguard on it, I think. No, it's just how the picture looks. But that's the way to get it as low as possible. Now, if you look at the three of them, I'll hopefully be able to fit all of them just in the one screen. Now, if you look at all three of these side by side, you can quite easily tell where they all currently sit. Now, the M4 and the HK are very similar when it comes to recoil. The 43 recoil reduction on the vertical compared to the 42 on the HK, with the 117 horizontal compared to the 112 on the HK. When you come over to the MDR, you are looking at a vertical of 64 and a horizontal of 179. That's a big difference. The one spot you will see is the DT MDR automatically comes with a very high ergonomics. Now, you don't need to mod much on this. All you do is you literally put a rail there just so you can fit a foregrip. You can put a stock standard mag pull foregrip on there, and then you can just put a suppressor or a muzzle attachment as you see fit. The rest of the gun comes pretty stock standard as is and sits where about in the same ergonomic recoil spot that it is as you buy it. But then with the HKs and the M4s, you need to spend a lot of money to mod these out. I think personally, overall, by looking at these, you can tell that you really should be buying the MDR if you want to spend probably less money and time modding, and you just want to quickly chuck a foregrip on it and go into a raid. You don't even need to worry about the suppressor too much or the compensator, and then get into the raid and it's easy to go. When you come across to the HK and the M4, if you really do want to get the best performance out of these guns, you're going to have to spend the time and the money modding them. Now, another thing that you might want to take note of here as well, when you're coming down to the muzzle velocity, this is pretty much how fast the bullets are going to be coming out of the chamber, including that there is trajectory and muzzle velocity based off the cartridge as well, the round you're firing. But the HK does shoot rounds faster, which means there should be less drop over the same distance as other ones. But the big number here, that's the most crucial number out of all these three guns, even when it comes to the recoil, in my opinion, is the actual fire rate. Now, the M4 is sitting there at 800, the HK is at 850, and then across here with the MDR, down at 650. Now, that is how many rounds you can put down per minute. Now, if you're sitting there with a 100-round mag, which you're about to see, you'll actually hear the difference in the speed of the firing of the rounds. And at close quarters, if you need to get that extra 2 or 3 bullets into that target to drop them before they drop you, this is where the MDR is really going to fail you. So I think that's enough rambling on the actual modifications and the layouts of the guns. I'm going to jump into a raid and then show you these guys firing and their spray patterns. So using this grate as a line here, and we'll use that wall to discuss our spray patterns. We'll start with the M4. Actually, no, we'll start with the HK, as this has the lowest of the recoils and that fastest firing rate. Now, remember to listen for the firing rate, as well as we'll have a look at the spray patterns. Now, unfortunately, the spray pattern from the HK has disappeared because I fired too many rounds off. But as you can see from the M4, the spray pattern's not very big, and the HK will be very similar based off the recoil for the HK and the M4. They're pretty much going to be identical. When you get to the MDR, you can see here that there's a larger spray pattern just based off that increased amount of recoil. And if you didn't hear it, you're not listening hard enough, but you can actually tell that the MDR is firing slower. This is going to be a major factor of weapon selection if you're doing it based on best performance compared to firing rates. Now, as you can see as well with the HK or the M4, either way, the firing rates or the rates at which you fire, it's got an automatic recoil control still in the game. So when you actually do have a pimped out gun, as pimped out as it can be, like you can see here. Now that wasn't ADS'd. You can see how there's no pull on the gun as well. And then if I was to say aim over here whilst ADS, here's my mouse, so you can see I'm not even adjusting it. It's a laser beam. Like, I don't know. You can see how the first few bullets it goes up, and then the automatic recoil control kicks in, and it's a laser beam. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. We've had a bit of discussion recently about it, and Pestily Games has stated that they like their system and they want to keep it in place. But I just like the discussion of how it doesn't really matter how high the recoil is. It's still going to be a laser beam. Like I'll use the MDR over here. Once the automatic recoil control kicks in, it's seriously, like, look at that pattern. Even with the higher recoil. But yeah, just be wary of that. So the firing rate is probably going to be the main contributing factor when it comes to these guns. But personally, it's up to you guys what you want to use, how you want to mod them out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you use as long as you're having fun. So guys, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. There's a lot of questions going around about the recoil and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care about it too much with this video. I more just want to show you guys how the guns work with the different modifications and where they're sitting is best in slot. I'll take some screenshots for this, and I'll chuck them in my Discord server in the EFT picks channel. So then if people want to make the best in slot M4s, HKs, and MDR, they can do it all they want. But personally, it's up to you how you like to mod your guns. I think it all comes down to aesthetics towards the end, with ergonomics on top, because the recoil after the first few kicks doesn't make a lot of difference. So guys, thanks for watching another video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for future content. I stream on Twitch every day at the moment, so make sure you go down the link below. Give me a follow over there. Hit me up with any Tarkov questions during my live stream or down in the comments below. And lastly, I'll see you next time. Ooh, just a little bit. Ooh, little bit more. Ooh, just a little bit. Recall what you're looking for.